I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of change or difference. In the longer run, though, the changes are going to be profound, as well as the challenges. I mean, one of the really interesting challenges is how do autonomous vehicles deal with urban stop sign controlled intersections where there are lots of pedestrians, right? So when you're at a stop sign and everyone arrives at the same time, there's a certain kind of social ability that kicks in, like, no, you go, no, you go. With autonomous vehicles, you end up with either the courtesy standoff, where nobody knows who gets to go next, or probably more likely, pedestrians simply take over. Because as soon as the safety protocols say that you have to stop the car for the kid bouncing the ball into the street, that'll take pedestrians in cities about 5 minutes to realize they can just cross whenever and wherever they want.
Sounds great for walkability.
Well, until we start criminalizing pedestrian behavior further, like we did in the 1930s when we invented the term jaywalking, which was a term that AAA promoted and then went to state legislatures to criminalize.
So Jessica, how are self-driving cars handling this issue of manners and politeness on public roads?
Yeah, so it's really important to think about the human-vehicle interaction, and Jeff raised a couple good points. But I think it goes to a deeper question of what do we really want autonomous vehicles to do for us in our cities? And I think there's a real potential to improve access in the way people can get around and experience our cities. But certainly safety is a part of what's going to be important for the rollout of, quite frankly, any technology. So it's something our engineers are looking at pretty deeply. We're running a number of experiments now to see how people and vehicles might interact together, whether it's lights or other things. There's been some funny videos on the internet about that as well. A guy dressed like a driver's seat driving along, and you can kind of see people do a double take and say, what's going on in there? What's really important is people becoming comfortable with this technology. We've done some things before where we put the LiDAR of the vehicles up and people can actually stand in front of it and do a selfie. And it's really funny because people have never seen themselves through the eyes of a self-driving car before. And so we're all learning how to work through these things together in real time.
So Raj, your company Lyft is partnering with Ford and a number of other companies, Waymo also, on self-driving cars. Tell us some of what you've learned from that partnership so far.
Sure. So first of all, from a consumer perspective, I think it was correctly pointed out that there's a lot of questions that consumers have, and they have a lot of questions around trust. So we've done some experiments with consumers, and one of the first things they want to do when they get into a car is they're asking themselves the question, what is this car seeing? And then the second question is this car behaving the way I would behave? So what we've done is actually created a console, which we've launched with a few of our partners, that takes in all the object level data that the car is seeing, because a lot of what self-driving is that we're teaching a car perception and to understand the environment around it. So we're taking in objects, it could be other cars, could be people, bringing those in, putting it and showing it actually on a little Android tablet, and showing the car there on what it's seeing and how it's maneuvering. And that brings down, I think, the fear level, and it brings the trust in. They do that a couple times, then they'll swipe over and start looking at music and controls and things like that. One comment I want to make, though, is that this is going to be, in question around Waymo and others, is that this is going to be a very gradual change, because the reality of the situation in the field today is that most autonomous vehicles are slowly learning the world around them. Think about the number of scenarios that a potential car has to encounter. It's the kid throwing the ball. It could be, I think one scenario that Waymo has looked at is grandma walking across the street with a stop sign. And what do you do about that? So there's all sorts of things that we haven't even thought about. And so the comfort level with the vehicle to be able to deal with what could be a potential infinite number of scenarios is going to take a while. So what we view it as, and this is where we think ride sharing plays a role, is because the consumer is used to picking out their phone, calling a ride, the ride comes over. What we're able to do is to dispatch a ride in real time, look at, is this AV safe? Is this AV capable? And then only then dispatch an AV ride. But we think for the next decade or more, it's going to be a combination of human drivers and AV drivers, even in ride sharing, and that will slowly get people comfortable as well, that we're making those decisions.
Let me just